thing I noticed with you, in your stories at least, is that you also try to give a positive message. Not just, I as a dancer, I first Martin, I went to New York, I do these things, I had a world tour, I was in music videos, I was on late night shows, and I do it. But also to try and give people a positive message. There is hope, you can do this, don't fall for the hype and that type of stuff. Was that always you? Was there something that led you to that point, to that realization, or how did that come about?
That was definitely always a huge part of me from young. My mom could tell you, like, I guess people always saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and not in the way that like I was insecure and like, oh my god, like no, that couldn't possibly be me. It was just like, I'm just Bianca. Like, this is my personality. I'm very like nonchalant. So there's a lot of things that really just don't get to me, which to me I feel is a good thing. You know, like I'm not like overly like, oh my god, I'm doing all the things I want to do now, so like I have to carry this attitude of like, you know, being the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
You know, for me it's like I just always been this type of person. Like, and my mom could tell you, like, no matter what I would do, no matter how many great things happen, I was just like, oh, okay, like that's nice, that's cool. You know, like not showing any kind of like interest, like over interest on
And
anything.
everybody
You know,
around you is like, what's wrong with you?
right. Well, also that too, but then also that energy, like, oh, like she must think that she's like the shit because, sorry, I don't know if I was going to cuss, but
That's fine.
you know, because she's getting all these things, and really and truly in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, like, it's just cool, like it's great, you know, but like, you know, just not over exaggerating things, you know. So that's just always been a huge part of my personality. What was the question again?
What led you there?
What led me to?
What led you there, or was it just you, that positive?
Right. And I think, to be honest, like my entire life, like in school, in dance, again, because I feel like other people like saw an energy in me that I didn't really see in myself. Like I always kind of had issues with like fitting in. You know, I was like bullied in high school, like believe it or not. You know, I went through so many things, you know, even in dance where like, okay, like she thinks she the best, so like we all have to hate on her. Meanwhile, I was just like doing my thing, you know. And although like I was also very competitive, like in a sense that like I want, of course, all of us compete and we want to be better than each other, which is like a good thing, you know. But I went through a lot of struggles, you know, with like finding people who were just accepting me as this person with this type of energy, and like, you know, just being like, yeah, that's just Bianca, you know. I feel like people always kind of like had this thing where it's like, she's just too much, you know. And so because I feel like because I went through that, and I really from a young age, like going through like things like that, I feel like it really like makes you like more mature, because you have to think about yourself as an individual, like not like how do I fit in, like how am I gonna make friends. It's just like, wow, like this is my reality now, so that means that something is different about me, and it must be a good thing. It must be something that like I'm not seeing in myself that I have to start looking at now, because my mom would always tell me like, Bianca, you have to understand, like you're special, you know, like you are good at what you do, like people are just not going to like that, you know. So instead of course I had my moments when I was just like, why though, like why?
Because you're still growing.
Right, I'm still growing.
You still want, even though you're not seeking them, you still want that acceptance.
I had to come to that point where I'm just like, wow, like, you know, like regardless of all these people hating you, you still have all these amazing opportunities coming your way, like you're doing amazing things, like something must be guiding you, you know. And like once I think by the time I was like maybe like 16, I got into meditation, which is not a religious practice, you know. It's just sitting down, closing your eyes, breathing, and connecting with yourself, you know. So imagine like 16 years old, like I'm doing things like that, you know. Those are the things that excite me. Like I'm like, I'm going to take time for myself, I'm gonna center myself, you know. Like those things just strengthen a knowing within me that was just like, you being guided, like everything is gonna flow and fall into place, like you don't even have to worry, you know. So when I came to that realization of like, yeah, like I have something guiding me, you know, there's energy around me that's protecting me, like no matter what I do, if things go bad, it's a lesson, if things go great, it's a blessing, you know. Like me just coming to like accepting certain things, like I just finally like blossom, you know. There was things that like I always knew, But the more I connected with myself, the more I started reading and like following like, you know, spiritual teachers and like finding what worked for me, it helped like, you know, just keep me sure about myself. And then I never really realized it. Like I remember when you messaged me, you was like, yeah, you know, you always put out positive messages. I'm like, wow, like a lot of people been like saying that recently, and it's like it's not like my goal in my head. Like when I go post something, like let me find something positive to like uplift the people. It's just like what I connect to. It's just like my spirit. It's just natural, you know. It's not like I'm going out of my way to say like let's be happy and positive today, because in actuality, it's not always that either. You know, it's not always like that. It's not always a bed of roses, you know. But I think because I just feel so strongly that
feel the need to just share it with
I feel a need to just share, because that's also a huge part of myself. Like I want people to grow with me, you know, not just watch me and be like, oh my god, I wish I could be there, because of course you could be there, you know. But that's why it's so important for me also when I do interviews too, to like share like my mindset behind certain things, because it's not just like I woke up and I was lucky. You know, like I was depressed when I went to New York, taking those 12 classes a week, being in the concrete jungle. Like I could say I was depressed. I was not happy. I didn't care about the opportunities that was coming my way. And I think, you know, just going through all those things and like finding my way out really like helped me just get to that next level of like, you know, being happy with myself, being positive, being confident, you know. And it's not in a way, again, like I'm going out of my way to do those things. It's just always been a part of myself that like I choose to cultivate, you know, to continue to grow.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
23.
That's a good mindset to have. Because how old am I? 34? Older than you. That's about 10 years. And I'm still working on it. So that's why like when I see people out there, and my husband included, he's very about the positivity and presenting your best self, and even if things are going bad, like there's still a positive aspect when you try to put that out there. I struggle with it a little bit more than he does. So when I see people out there that are putting that out there, I do try to listen and try to see how I can apply it, and when I'm not going through my not as good days, like try to think of a positive thing or find a positive outlet that can help the process along. So that's why it was something that I wanted to bring up, because it's not to say it's easy for you, but it's not that easy for a lot of people.
Of course.
And they really have to work at it to get there.
Honest, it is. That's exactly what it is. It's like committing yourself to finding the positives in everything, you know. And it's like it's reading, it's listening, it's like understanding, you know. Like it's not just something that's just. I think inherently we are all happy people. I think that it's just situations and our circumstances and things that happen that kind of cloud that, you know. Yeah, right. It does. And I don't ever want to give off the impression that like I'm always in that space, because trust me, like mental health is a serious thing for me, you know. And I believe that it's something that we don't talk about on the island a lot. And so we think that is this huge thing, like, oh my god, this person is struggling with depression, like this is like a serious thing. It's like, no, the average person needs to see a therapist. The average person needs somebody to talk to, because we all have our little things that eventually add up. We all have our moments when we get depressed, when we get sad, when we can't pull ourselves out of those situations, you know. But it's like once you realize the power of your mind, like you are the only person that can pull yourself out of those situations. And sometimes it's like not even battling those things that you're struggling with. Like if you wake up one day and you say, you know what, I'm sad today, like it's not like, oh, I gotta think positive, gotta get myself together. It's like, you know what, sometimes like it's just accepting where you are in that moment, and then being like, this is a part of it. Like how would I know what true happiness really feels like if I don't go through those low moments? Like this is what life is, you know. But I think for me, like my knowing and assurance that like everything is going to be okay, because it has to be okay, you know, like something out there, God, this energy, this source loves me, is protecting me, is taking care of me, is putting me through the necessary things, whether we think it's good or bad, for me to grow and to continue to build myself. You know, like I feel like when you remind yourself of that, it's like, you know, like I'm having a bad day, but like ultimately everything is gonna be okay.
It's gonna lead me to where it's supposed to lead me. This was necessary for the next step.
Right.
What is your ultimate wish in life? Whether it's personally, whether it's professionally.
I think like beyond my career and beyond whatever's gonna be happening in my life, And I don't want to say it's a wish, I want to affirm it,
Okay.
to say that it will happen,
Okay.
and that it's just like no matter what, that I am happy and loving and loved.
There you go.
You know, like to me, it doesn't have to be nothing grand, nothing big. I don't want $1 million. I don't want a huge house. All these things, you know. Like for me, like I just know that no matter what, like I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be surrounded by people that I love, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna be continuing to have an impact on the people around me, and hopefully even larger numbers of people over time. You know, but like for me, like one thing I've been learning recently is like how your words have power.
Yeah.
You know, so if you say like, yeah, like one day I'm gonna do this, or like I wish, it's kind of saying that like you don't have those things now.
Yeah.
When really and truly we could have everything that we want right now.
Mhm.
You know, but sometimes the words that we put out there kind of, I feel like, prolong the things that we want, you know. So for me, I'm like, of course it's something so small, like I wish, you know, but for me it's like I affirm, like this
Yes,
is gonna
this
happen
is gonna
because
happen.
I'm seeing it's gonna happen.
I am this.
Mhm.
This is what I will do. Nice. Well, thank you very much, Miss Bianca, for your time.
Of course.
It
thank
was
you.
very nice getting to know you.
Thank you.
Okay.